And if you don't do this path, your hard-earned dollars, your money is going to go into the garbage bin, because you're not going to have people's trust. So when you invest in advertising, people are more skeptical than ever. So you got to make sure that you eliminate that skepticism by building a road for them to trust you along the way. Yeah. Let me have you ask me some questions. I know you want to pick my brain. Let's talk about that, man.
So I did have a question, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. Was because of our pivot towards a more subscription-based and, by the way, niched service. So let me just say that real quick. Right now, what we decided to do was go real deep into the niches itself. So instead of just saying, I create handmade products, like Etsy, things like that. And just what we did is did mini courses and templates and things like that for jewelry businesses. So all of our examples are through jewelry and jewelry clients that we've had, and successes and stories and how their Etsy shops work and what their customers say. And I think that's something that is severely lacking. And I even wrote that down as the number one biggest problem for e-commerce in general is lack of education. And I feel like if you wanted to go into the e-commerce space, that is such a huge gap, because if you go to like social media marketing, whatever, those guys, if you look through their blogs and whatnot, a lot of times they'll have they'll be like top 5 things you should do to grow your Instagram, as an example, right? Now I know they're talking to everybody, so they have to do this, but like the very first one will be like some small e-commerce coffee brewery thing. But then the very next one is about Nike. And the distinction there between this company that makes, $30,000 a year versus this company that's $1 billion company, like it's hard for e-commerce brands to actually connect the dots and see, how the hell am I supposed to do the second step, let alone the third and fourth and fifth, right?
Right.
So what we did, and that's why we decided to niche down and go into that more subscription-based service where we write these templates and we write social media copy for them and things like that, because we can actually say jewelry here as opposed to just handmade, and then they have to change a bunch of different things. So my question to you is, back to kind of us pivoting, how do you see the world now through the lens of COVID and everything, as people are trying to, I guess you could say, hold on to their money or make better and more conscious decisions on their money? How do you see that going with people who try to create courses and sell them for $1,000 versus smaller things like creating mini courses and giving those away as like freemium offers, and then upselling coaching and things of that nature?
Right. Did you see the formula, my sequence that I came up with? Have you had a chance to see, I came up with 7 steps on how to, and we can detail them right here. I did 7 steps on how to penetrate this environment. You call seeing that, Julio?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. So I'll break it down over here very quickly because this is a good point. So I'm going to break down the 7 steps over here, all right? And this will answer your question, all right? So number 1, first thing is superpower, right? So you already know what superpower is. In your case, you're a badass copywriter. You're really good at what you do. You're a marketer, and you have tips, and you have information that can make somebody else better. So that's the first step. Number 2, you got to obsessively communicate about it. Obsessively communicate, right? So you have to be willing to go and grab that superpower and spread it everywhere, in as many places as possible. You have LinkedIn, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have Instagram TV, you got YouTube, you got Snapchat, you got TikTok, you got Messenger, you got WhatsApp. Any place, I mean, you even talk about Pinterest. Anywhere where you can spread the word about this thing that you have, which is your ability to help others, you put it out there. Number 3, we have provide enormous value. And this is to answer your question right here. The way that I like to explain this point is you got to look at what is the thing that generally you will sell for $1,000 in a great economy. What is the thing that generally you would have people pay you a lot of money for? And this is what you're going to do, man. You're going to give it away to people or do introductory things that bring them into your world. Because right now, this world has one big word over it, and that is skepticism. And make no mistake, no matter what the economy is telling you, No matter how explosive the stock market is, how incredible things seem or appear to be, in the middle of an economic meltdown and a total recession and a destructive path that COVID-19 has left for all of us along the way, there is skepticism, and that's inevitable. So how do you break through and eliminate skepticism? You gotta build a road that provides a path for people to trust you and eliminate that idea that you're out there because you want their money. You gotta give. If 2 years ago, I don't know how long you've been following for, you heard me talking about providing value first and value, and you hear all these guys like Gary Vee and a bunch of these people talking about value, and we all talk about the same thing, but at the same time, we walk that talk and we build empires around us walking that talk of value. Well, right now, that is 1,000 times more important. Right now, you give value and you give it away and you don't sell anything until you have these people on your world. Now, am I saying that you can't be selling your products and services right now? Please do not mistake that. Absolutely not for 1 second. But it has complicated the path a little bit. And if you don't do this path, your hard-earned dollars, your money is going to go into the garbage bin, because you're not going to have people's trust. So when you invest in advertising, people are more skeptical than ever. So you got to make sure that you eliminate that skepticism by building a road for them to trust you along the way. Superpower, obsessively communicate about it. If you look at, in my case, I do hundreds of publications every single week. I'm working on doing more. I'm here providing value to you guys in the social marketing hour. I'm doing content and training every single week. I do free webinars, free seminars. I'm out there trying to just give all the value that I can. I'm not even selling my $2,000 core anymore. I am actually just providing value. Obsessively communicate about it, provide enormous value. Again, at this point, you're going to structure that thing that is that $1,000 course or thing, and you're going to try to spread it into several things that are going to be more valuable, so you can do what? Number 4, build audiences of people. You want to build audiences because these people are the ones that are going to allow you to generate income on any environment. This is how you create your own economy. Without these people, you cannot create your economy, and people are going to be determining if they're going to give you business or not based on their experience with you in the past. So building audiences does absolutely determine that, all right? And once you have that audience of people, then you move on into creating some of these strategies to bring them in. So we have 5, 6, and 7. Over here is lead magnets, and I'll explain that in a second. And then get marketing knowledge. And then final one, sales over here. So the selling happens here, okay? So you gotta build a strategy that takes people from your ability that you have to help them to seeing you in social media, communicating about that ability. Like anybody that's here, they're here exclusively to learn about marketing. They're not here to find out about my story or learn about flowers. They're here because they know that I have a superpower. Yep. My superpower is the ability to help them understand marketing better, specifically in this environment. So they know what they're here to come, what they're here to get. Obsessively communicate about it, provide enormous value, meaning that, hey, I'm going to show you a roadmap. Here you go. Here's a formula. Here's a sequence of action steps to do. Let's go. We generate those audiences. How do you generate those audiences? Well, you're going to have people watching your videos on Facebook. People are going to be visiting your blogs, listening to your podcasts. They're going to be engaging with your Instagram profile. You're building audiences. And what a lot of people don't know, people that are not marketers, they don't understand that we are building footprints with these people. And they are digital footprints, and we know if they're watching a video, if they're not, if they're visiting a website, if they're messaging our page. We have all that data. So we're building audiences. And then at this point, Julio, is where you can create your mini courses so you can start generating identities at this point. And again, My dad always taught me, and my dad he's an absolute legend. Some of you guys have heard about this guy. He is a big mentor of mine, one of my biggest mentors in my life. I've had the pleasure of working side by side for the last decade with him, and I've learned so much from him. One of the things that he always taught me is like, son, you never go to a marketing campaign. You never go after something unless you have a strategy. Please put a strategy together. Know exactly what you're going to go after. What is your goal? What is your idea? What are you trying to accomplish here? What determines what makes it successful? What is the funnel? How are you going to lead them into a conversion? What is the exact road? You don't just do advertising. You got to do strategy. And this is a strategy right here. And you got to sit down and you got to work it out first before you start doing anything else. You got to work it out. What's your superpower? How are you going to communicate and where? Are you going to do podcast videos? Are you going to do images? Are you going to do articles? What are you going to do? Are you going to do all of it? You're going to provide enormous value. What are you going to talk about exactly? What is your content going to be about? And then over here, this is kind of like part of the world of marketing, that you're building these audiences, generating these audiences on social media, on these platforms. And then over here, you can do your magnets, right? Like your mini courses, your free resources, your tutorials, your DIYs, your templates for e-commerce brands, your this. And then you bring them into your world. And once you bring them into your world, there's a reason why I'm putting over here get marketing knowledge. There is so much information on the world of marketing, so much that you can do, that the way that I have it set up is that I have to do every single week a training. Every single week I do 1 hour training. Generally it's about an hour and a half, and we break down strategies that are working today. I cannot just do a course, because in marketing, courses and technology change all the time. So I have to have a continuity training, and every single month I break down what's working today. So you got to get marketing knowledge, because at this point, if you generate leads, I see a lot of people failing on this world. I see enormous failure because they generate leads, but they don't nurture them. They don't put them through a sequence. They don't educate them. They don't lead them down a funnel. Nothing else happens. So you're going to go to waste. So building a list on ManyChat, for example, doing ManyChat or doing a Infusionsoft or ActiveCampaign or Constant Contact or whatever it is that you like. I personally, as you know, you might have heard me talking about that before. I'm personally very into ManyChat, because ManyChat, it's multi-channel. It's not really a replacement to Infusionsoft. It's not a replacement to Klaviyo for e-commerce brands. It really isn't. It's far from it, but it is a multi-channel platform. You can bring people in, you can deliver a mini course, you can extract phone numbers, email, subscribers on Messenger, and now build relationships on free platforms at the same time. That by itself is something that I want to get knowledge on, and I want to be an expert on the subject of how do I manage these people once they come into my world. And then at the end of it, at this point, sales, all right, over here, then you're going to figure out what are your next level of engagement offers. I'll tell you in my case, Julio, in my case, what do I have going on? Because I do a lot of free. I do a ton of communication. So I have social media. We're doing 250, 300 publications every single week. Some weeks we've done 400, and we're all over the place on Instagram, on Facebook, on TV, Instagram TV, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, everywhere, right? I do all of that. Somebody like you, for example, maybe you're not part of my coaching, but maybe you have gotten value from what you have seen for free out there. Well, that's my first level of engagement, right? So my next level of engagement is my coaching program, which is a $97 a month program. If you trust me enough that you have gained that confidence that my education is going to help you get more results in your business, then you say, okay, you know what? Manuel has convinced me that he's worth 97 of my dollars a month. Here you go. Boom. That for me is not the end all. I want to make sure that I give you the tools for you to become successful so I can sell you a $10,000 a month retainer very soon. So you see, I have a journey. Not only that, if you're an Amazon seller, I can show you and I can sell you Amazon ranking services. I can handle it for you, or I can teach you exactly how you can get it done yourself. So I have a suite of services that I offer and products over here only. I can tell you one thing, people that are on my agency, I have an agency right now that does millions of dollars a year. We have 68 staff. We've grown from the ground up, myself just 3 years ago, to now who we are right now. My agency is built on this journey, built on this journey. I have never run any Facebook ads to generate leads, never. None of you guys here watching this replay or here live with us right now, you have never seen an ad where I promoted AGM marketing services. Never. Why? Because people come into my world based on this particular strategy. And what I have in AGM marketing is generally people that are my fans, number one, or people that have been referred to others. Like Dr. Berg was referred to me by my father. Dr. Berg referred to me a bunch of people along the way. So I got referrals from people that have come into my world because of a great success of being of AGM. So either you are a fan of mine and you say, I trust you, Manuel, here's $10,000 a month, or you are somebody referred to by somebody that you trust. That's the road and that's the journey that I want you to build along the way for yourself, because I can see the potential. Copywriting is such an important area right now. You're right, copywriting for webinars, copywriting for emails, for messenger bots, for social media ads, for all these things, it's priceless. And you can definitely have something built that you could grow quite well. Does that make sense?
Sure.